The biggest concept that I work with in my artwork is sense of place and how that determines your identity and where you're at and where you're from, the people, the memories, everything that comes with that. And currently I'm using photography, video, painting, writing, getting into movement as well to experiment with these things. So with writing, I create these stories of identities of other people, kind of anecdotes that address my experiences as a way to deal with them, and then also pairing those with the images that I'm making, and now also the images that I'm finding, and finding these correlations between them in both different places and also throughout different times. The nature of the image really fascinates me, and especially with photography, how you have an image and you have to take it for what it's worth, but beneath that there are so many different layers that often go unnoticed, whereas in painting, in most other mediums, actually, you know someone has had a hand in it. So with photography, then you can use that to, I guess in a way, kind of trick the viewer and yourself, which finding these images for me, I guess I'm sort of looking for that, like something that appears also to me not to be what it is anymore, and taking it out of that context. In my paintings, I'm doing a few different explorations. In one series, I'm dealing with kind of receiving a word in Italian and learning what that means, and also receiving the image, both of them at the first time, and sort of determining how to relate the two and what exactly they mean in kind of a lesson, sort of. And in one series of paintings, I'm dealing with something that I've gotten a lot from working with video and photography, and that's the sense of light in between the subject and the viewer. And so basically I'm painting the light in a way, and I have a series now where I've taken one window, the same window from London, I believe, and just painted that over and over, and have gotten actually further away from what the subject really is, to get closer to what the subject really is, I guess. And so, and that's a lot more free, the way I'm painting those. And so I'm at the moment using painting to really just explore those different avenues. Being in Florence has been amazing, first of all, because I'm also not from a city, and I'm certainly not from Italy. So just everything has changed, which is, I think, one of the biggest driving factors in inspiration that you can get, and that for me has just propelled everything I've done, to looking at anything in every way I possibly can, just because nothing is familiar anymore. And even once it becomes familiar, it's easy to get used to the change that will certainly come the next day with the next hectic stroll down the streets, or dealing with this city that is very much alive and is very much full of just everything, and then also using it to correspond to, for me, the opposite, the more low-key, quiet sort of meditation that occurs in areas that are not this hectic and chaotic. And so it's a really good, it goes back and forth from good and bad, but it's a really good dialogue that they have. And I'm sort of laughing because it's also funny sometimes to relate this place to anywhere else I've lived, because it's just so different. But I think that's why it's been so good for me. For me, the most significant experience from last year was definitely our project in Cortona, which was our final show for the first year. And we were able to go into the town to visit the museum, the Etruscan Museum, for the first time, and really just jump into this culture that most of us had never dealt with before. And it was a really eye-opening experience and a really amazing way to deal with being an outsider through our work and through the connections that we made from visiting and from getting to know these people. So for the project, I did a work that involved installation, photography, video with one of the other MFA students, Rada, and we went back to the town maybe 4 times, I think, just to really get to know some of the people and ask them about their connection with the museum. And through all of this, then we realized that by using this red string to represent this connection that we found and strung it all over the town, around the museum and inside the museum, and got as many people to help as we could. And basically it was just a really eye-opening experience of seeing the way that everyone there responded and connected, and if there were positive or negative feelings involved, or just seeing what would come from this act of physically connecting the museum to its people. And so it was a intense and over a month-long process, I think. It was really rewarding.